big one. And he's powered over the man and scored! Oh, what a claim! And what a try!
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Batley, the Foxes Biscuit Stadium for this Betfred Challenge Cup tie between the Bulldogs and the Keighley Cougars. We are one round away from the Betfred Super League big boys joining the competition and the opportunity to be a step closer to Wembley, whether that be in the Challenge Cup or the 1895 trophy. Alongside me, Alex Walmsley, a man who knows this parish very well, of course. You cut your teeth on this very ground. Good to be back.
Yeah, it's always nice to come back to Batley and head up to the Foxes Biscuit Stadium. It was Mount Pleasant when I was there, but yeah, it's a fantastic club. I had a great 12 month here and really helped me develop into the Super League player that I am today.
We know how special, of course, the Betfred Challenge Cup is, but for these teams in this round in particular, the opportunity to maybe even come up against yourself in the next round, this is what the Challenge Cup's all about, isn't it?
It really is. I think having been a player in this circumstance when I was here, it's an opportunity to come up against Super League sides, and what that means to the club financially is massive. But what it means to us as players, and to test yourself against the league's best and the English's best in Super League is it's something that really does wet the teeth. And look, both teams will be fired up and ready for this, and hopefully an opportunity for them to get through and yeah, get to the next round and face some Super League competition.
Two teams very local to each other, in the league standard as well in the Championship. We should be on for quite a good game here.
Yeah, look, it's going to be a real tough battle. I know they played each other at the start of the season, and Batley just pipped them in that game up here. So yeah, look, it's got all the makings for a mouth-watering tie. It's going to be too close to call. I think the Super League experience in Luke Gale for Keighley is going to be massive. But Batley, they'll be fired up. I can ensure you, knowing Craig Lingard and knowing this side, they'll be ready for this game, and yeah, expect some fireworks.
Well, we're getting ever closer to kick-off here in the Betfred Challenge Cup, so let's get the thoughts of both head coaches. Craig, thank you for joining us. A big tie this really, of course. The Super League team's coming in the next round, an opportunity to take a step further towards Wembley in the 1895 Cup as well. Are your team kind of aware of what's at stake this afternoon?
Yeah, definitely. It's one of the goals that the team set themselves at the start of the season. They really want to have a good crack at the 1895 Cup. We've got some players that are coming up towards the end of the career rather than the start of the career, so they want to make a concerted effort this year to try and get into the 1895 Cup final, and we know win this game, we won't get away from that, so it's certainly a goal that we set ourselves, and we know the importance of this game.
And Keighley will give you a stern test for sure. It must be, when you're up against these all-championship ties, but there aren't league points on the line. Is it almost kind of a free hit to really chuck yourselves up against each other as best you can?
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, we played Keith in the league around about 4 weeks ago down here, and it went down right to the last play of the game. So that's how close it's going to be. And if you look at the league table in the Championship, there's not many points separating a lot of teams in that league. So it just shows how close it is. So whether it's a league or whether it's a cup, it's going to be an entertaining contest, and I would imagine it'll go right down to the wire again.
There's always so much kind of history and prestige around the Challenge Cup and these games. Do they have a different feel in the week building up to them than perhaps league ties do?
This one does for us, particularly because we've targeted the 1895 Cup, and Batley have won 3 Challenge Cup finals, but they've never been to Wembley because the first Challenge Cup finals weren't actually at Wembley. So, we know the significance of that, and we know the significance that these guys could potentially make a bit of a legacy for themselves to be the first team to step Batley to Wembley. So we're certainly concentrating on that.
Well, Reece, good to see you. What's the mood like in the group going into this one?
Yeah, really excited. I think it's going to be a great opportunity to play a top level team down here at Batley and what is a very traditional cup competition. So no, really excited to see how this goes.
You're a win away from being able to potentially test yourself against a Super League side and take a step further in the 1895 as well. Does that add an extra kind of zip and excitement to training coming into these?
Realistically, we just work 1 week ahead. Okay, that's obviously the standard response, and we generally do just take each week as it comes. We're newly promoted into the Championship division as well, so we've just been learning as we go. But without doubt, there is a little bit more energy around the place this week. I think we understand that the Challenge Cup is a different competition from the league, and it is well and truly week by week. So I'm really excited to be a part of it and obviously get through. I think it's the first time in a long time Keighley have actually progressed through any of the rounds. So I'm really excited that we managed to get a couple of wins, and now we're here on telly.
Hey, you mentioned that you're learning week on week. You were here a few weeks ago against the Bulldogs. What did you take out of that game?
Yeah, but Batley are traditionally a very, very good team here. They've been right there at the pointy end of the stick for a couple of years now. They're in the grand final last year. So one thing about Batley is they never give up. They compete. They're quite detailed with how they play, and they've got a great forward pack, and they know how to play at home. So now it's going to be a really good challenge for our players to see how this goes.
You've got plenty of experience in your side. You've got quite a recent Challenge Cup winner, of course, in there in Luke Gale. How much do you look to players like that in these games to kind of guide you through?
Yeah, definitely. I certainly think every team has a plan, don't they? Every team has a game plan. They've got a set of criteria that they believe will give them a great opportunity to win the game. And what those senior guys are, they're there to keep us on track, but they're also when sometimes the game plan needs adjusting. I mean, everything's fine until the first ball's kicked, isn't it? So certainly looking for that experience there just to have a look and see if things are working, and they'll hopefully have the experience to tweak the plan or change the plan as need be during the game.
Well, best of luck today. Well, you are very welcome to the Foxes Biscuit Stadium here in Batley. We were promised wind and rain. What we've got is a beautiful afternoon here in Yorkshire and a Challenge Cup tie to match. An all Betfred Championship affair between the Batley Bulldogs and the Keighley Cougars. I'm Lewis Smith, and alongside me, a current St Helens prop, an England international, but perhaps most importantly, a former Batley Bulldog, Alex Walmsley. Alex, we'll just run through the teams quickly. We'll start with the home side. Aidan McGowan in the 21 jersey with Dale Morton, Josh Hodson, Kieran Buchanan and Wales captain Elliot Keir in the back line. They'll be led around by half-back pairing of Ben White and Josh Woods. You've got Tom Lillycrop, Ben Kay and James Brown in the front row with Niall Flynn, Lucas Walshaw and Martin Riley completing the forward pack. And on the interchange bench, James Meadows, Adam Gledhill, Michael Ward and Keegan Hurst complete the 17 for the home side this afternoon.
Yeah, look, plenty of size in that size and that pack in particular. I think obviously missing Dame Manning brings an opportunity to Niall Flynn in the back row, so he's got a big ask to fill in some pretty big boots in the missing Dame Manning. But yeah, I look at the bench as well. Adam Gledhill, Michael Ward and Keegan Hurst, three big prop forwards who will come on and cause a bit of impact off the bench. So yeah, look, real good starting side for Batley and plenty to come off the bench as well.
Well, let's have a look at the Cougars lineup then. Reece Lovegrove's side, promoted from Betfred League One last season, of course. They will start with Lewis Young at fullback, Charlie Graham, Robbie Story, Alex Stevenson and Ben Crooks complete the back line with Lloyd Roby and Challenge Cup winner in 2021 with Leeds Rhinos Luke Gale. How much experience is in that 31 jersey for the Cougars? In the pack, Brendan Santi played for Italy at the World Cup alongside Thomas Doyle and Marco Arni, and Aaron Levy, Sadiq Adibayi and Harvey Spence complete the pack with an interchange bench of Brad Walker, Toby Everett, Dan Parker and Kyle Keswick. And Alex, you spoke about the size on the Batley lineup. It's similar in that Keighley team. It could be a real battle in the middle today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the packs are going to have a big say in the game. I mentioned the Batley pack, but Keighley are just as big as well. Mark Ione, ex-NRL and Super League player. And off the bench, we've got Toby Everett, who was obviously a big part of the successful side for Batley last season. So yeah, they're going to have a big say in the match. But I think you mentioned him before, Luke Gale at half-back. 2017 World Cup final player. Famous for big games. He's won the Challenge Cup with Leeds in 2020. Famous for the drop goal in 2017 against St Helens in the semi-final. So he's played in the biggest of games. He knows what it takes to win big games, and he'll have a real key emphasis on today's match. I think his kicking game in particular will be key for Keighley.
It's worth mentioning as well what's at stake this afternoon. A place in the next round of the Betfred Challenge Cup, of course, but with that comes the possibility to play a Betfred Super League team that the big boys enter in the next round. But there's also that kind of added carrot of one step closer to Wembley, potentially in the 1895 Cup. So yes, it's a break from the league. Yes, it's a break from the pressure of getting those two competition points, but it's all on the line this afternoon.
It is, and I think you mentioned it there. It's an opportunity for some players to have a good run in the Cup, coming up against some Super League opposition in the next round. And yeah, look, that carrot of Wembley you know, in a few rounds' time, it is somewhat massive for these players, but also for the clubs as well. The opportunity to bring a Super League side to the home ground, bring in some good fans and good revenue is a massive opportunity for the clubs. Yeah, look, I'm really excited for the players because there's some new players who won't be experiencing these rounds of the Cup, and yeah, they'll be really fired up.
And so much to come in the Betfred Challenge Cup, of course. Wembley ever looming on the horizon, but these days, you know, these kind of mid-rounds of the Cup, they're so special, aren't they, days like these, Alex?
They are, yeah, and especially for the supporters to come and witness the Cup games and play against, like I said, you know, a big match against two big championship sides, but the prospect of a Super League side coming into their hometown is massive for the spectators, and it does all create a really exciting feel and exciting game. And yeah, look, I've said it a couple of times already so far, but I think we're going to have two really fired up sides here, hoping to get the job done and find themselves in the next round.
And a bit of a local derby as well, of course. A really healthy crowd gathering around us here at the Foxes Biscuit Stadium. A strong contingent of Keighley Cougars fans gathering over on that far side. So it should be a really cracking atmosphere. We've mentioned the weather. It's been pretty good to us so far. And there is, of course, as you can see, that slope to take into contention as well. You know this ground well. How much of an added factor is it?
Yeah, it plays a big bearing on the match. And look, obviously coming downhill has its aids and it helps coming down with the slope, but listen, if you've got some quick play, the ball's coming back up the hill, and you've got a retreating defence having to retreat up this slope, it does take it out of you defensively. So it can work both ways. I know being in that far corner at the bottom of the pitch is a tough ask to come out of, and you need some pretty brave carries, and you've got to factor it in it all. It affects the kicking game, it affects the line speed, it affects the whole match. So yeah, look, it's going to have a bearing, but be interesting to see who comes down the hill on the first side and see how they start the match.
Well, here come the teams then. The Batley Bulldogs coming out first to the home crowd. They know this track, they know this slope all too well, of course. Slowly following behind them, the Keighley Cougars in what should be a cracking Betfred Challenge Cup 5th round tie, as we've mentioned, and I'm sure we'll mention a few times throughout this afternoon. On the horizon for the winners, the opportunity to play Betfred Super League opposition in the 6th round of the Challenge Cup. Yeah, cracking atmosphere here at the Foxes Biscuit Stadium. It's been building nicely. Two teams steady away in the championship, but it's all knockout football today, Alex. Yeah, it is, and they've both got a great reception. Like you said, the atmosphere is great. The weather's held off, and you know it's all the makings for a good game. And you're obviously coming out now, and you know, you can see the size of both packs. It's going to be a real physical match. I'm really excited for that battle in the middle. They'll be going after each other. Yeah, look, I look at James Brown. He led the side out today as captain. You can tell how much it means to him to lead this side, and he'll be fired up and ready to whip into the Keighley Cougars pack. You mentioned the size of those packs. How big a bonus was it getting Keegan Hurst back for the Bulldogs for this campaign? Yeah, look, he's a Batley lad. He's a local lad, and obviously with ex-Super League experience now to come back for this match, and you know, to reap off his experience will be key for Batley, and he'll be leading the charge off the bench. He's a handful, but not just with his carries. He's got a subtle ball play as well, which he'll look to offload and promote the ball to the halfbacks. Well, it's going to be the Bulldogs who get us underway, kicking up the slope in the first half. Yeah. Aidan McGowan, the fullback, waiting for the referee. And we're underway here in Batley for the Bulldogs versus the Cougars in the Betfred Challenge Cup. And it'll be Cougars who get first taste of the football, and straight away a big carry. Yeah. Brendan Santi carrying up hard. It's all about those early yards, isn't it, Alex? Yeah, we mentioned them carries and coming off the back line, coming down that early. He didn't slow down, did he? And look, he got met by 3 ferocious tacklers there as well from the Batley. So, yep, straight at it. Well, the Cougars already making decent headway with this first set, and now they shape to this left-hand side, keeping the ball in hand, making it get their way over the halfway line. Will they look to put a spread play on? They keep it short again. Santi, Italian international, played at the recent World Cup in the autumn. There's plenty of experience there. A real star of that side. They got promotion last season, and it's Luke Gale who hoists a big kick up to that far corner. And Keith will be pretty pleased with that first set, Alex. Yeah, straight no-nonsense set.
5 good carries and a great kick by Luke Gale. I think we're going to see a lot of that today. They'll be wanting to make sure they control the ball, keep Batley down at its bottom end.
So Batley looking to get themselves deep deep from inside their own territory, and there's an offload there straight away. Not afraid to throw the ball around even in these early sets, and it's probably earned them another 6 or 7 yards.
Yeah, and this is what I talked about. You know, if you get them quick play the balls, get the offloads, you might be coming up the hill, but you're making the defenders retreat up this big slope, and it does take it out of you, especially the big boys in the middle.
So that's White coming out of dummy half. James Brown, captain this afternoon, with that carry. And the kick goes up from Josh Woods. Really towering kick. Really good kick chase. And both teams completing their first sets. And it sounds like a simple thing to say, but that is hugely important, isn't it, for confidence and just settling into these games?
Absolutely. You know, they're both 2 good sets, got to kicks, 2 really good kicks and chases, and like I said, they'll be the ingredients of today's match. It's not always the defensive players what win these matches, it's the consistently little players done well which will get you the result.
And Crooks there with the carry for Keighley. What a signing he was, by the way, because he was scoring tries for fun not long ago in the Betfred Super League, so a real bonus for them to have in the championship. And Santi's been really busy in these early few sets, taking the carry up to the 40. That's
his second carry, another good 10 metres gained as well, and again we're seeing the same kick. Luke Gale kicking them down into the steep corner, and yeah, they'll be happy with that set again.
Aidan McGowan taking that at fullback really well. They're really excited about what he might be able to achieve in his career. Just 20 years old, so plenty to come, but already some really strong signs of what he might have in his locker going forward.
Yep.
So Batley getting the ball in slightly better field position than they did last time. A win in the arm wrestle, and straight away there, Kieran Buchanan, Scotland international, making some good metres on that left-hand side.
Yeah, they're starting well, Batley. I think they've been the better of the 2 sides, and I spoke about them quick play the balls, making Keighley retreat up the hill defensively. It's taking them out a little bit, and yeah, look, they look really good at the minute, Batley.
So White shapes over to this right-hand side. Lucas Walshaw cut down on the 20-metre line. This is the last, so what will they do with it? The ball goes up in the air, looking to put that Keighley back free under pressure, but it's very well dealt with by Charlie Graham, I think it was, over on that far-hand side. And Keighley again taking the ball off their own line.
Yeah, again, another great set by Batley. I think they're just winning that play of the ball at the minute. Had a few good quick outside back carries which have allowed them to get on the front foot, and yeah, they're keeping Keighley penned in their own half.
Well, again, Santi with the carry for the Cougars. Taken out by Thomas Doyle from the play of the ball.
Good
offload by Oani, and Keighley looking to try and get a little bit of space in front of them, but the Batley defence did well.
Yeah, but I think they'll need that, get that offload out and sort of generate a bit of play the ball speed. I think they're losing the punch in the ruck at the minute a little bit, and yeah, they need to sort of speed all that up.
Well, 3 times Luke Gale has put that ball high, spiralling into the air. 3 times Aidan McGowan has looked safe as houses underneath it. So Batley starting with the ball around their own 30-metre line. Really attritional arm wrestle so far. Both teams completing sets. No one showing either sign of blinking yet.
No, I think again we're seeing that quick play of the ball. Got a little bit of ball movement by the hooker, and yeah, we're just getting Keighley on the back foot here, and they're just creating too much speed, and they struggle to handle with it at the minute.
Yeah, those quick plays earning some good yards for the Bulldogs, and Martin Riley with just an old-fashioned up-to-jumper carry, but he does then get the offload away.
Yeah, another great offload, I think, by Captain James Brown, and he, yeah, he's well known for that. I'm sure Keith would have spoke about his offload in the training leading up to it, but look, another good set, turning the ball over on Keithley's 5-metre line, and yeah, expecting a lot for Keighley to get back into out their own half, should I say. Yeah,
Ben White opting to keep the ball in his hands, but there's worse places to turn the football over, and again, Keighley left with it all to do, carrying off their own line.
Yeah, I just like the way Batley are pushing with plenty of support. I think Keighley are a little bit one out at the minute, not got that much support play, and yeah, it's easy for Batley to sort of deal with that defensively, and yeah, control the ruck and the quick play the balls.
A strong carry from Crooks. Keighley looking to get some momentum going here, using the slope to their advantage if they can. Zoani again Just managing to get a little bit of space and get the ball away in the offload. But there's the first error of the afternoon. And a real opportunity now for Batley then getting the ball on the halfway line. What can they do with it? Can they get themselves a good ball set out of that error? It's Kieran Buchanan who carries up to the 40. How much of a psychological win is it when you force an error first in this game? Yeah,
it's good. I think considering Batley are already sort of winning the field position as it is, to force an error as well is it would be good. But they've just gone and given error themselves, which will be frustrating. Craig Lingard won't be happy with that. I think they've started the game really well, got themselves in a good promising position to put on some good ball attack, and the first opportunity they'll come up with an error themselves. Well, we said at the beginning that this would be a tight game, not much to choose between these two sides at all on paper. It's proved to be that so far in the first 7 or so minutes, and this scrum really the first breather that these players have had to been able to take, this first kind of break in the game. It's been a quick game of football so far. It has, and I think the much needed rest I think for a few of the players. It was a very quick start, and look, a break on here, just chopped down. Good defence from Batley. Yeah, a little bit better by Keighley, that bit of ball movement, and again, Coach Killer got the ball back, and they've compounded an error with an error. They won't be happy with that, and again, it gives Batley an opportunity to play some good ball position. So it will be a play the ball to the Bulldogs just inside. Yeah, they're the ones you can't forgive. The unforced errors. Just getting the ball back on play one, to not play the ball correctly is, look, Coach Reese Lovegrove won't be too happy with that. So Lucas Walshaw making the carry, just short of the 30-metre line. And now they shape out to the left-hand side. Martin Riley carrying it in, about 28 metres short of the try line. James Brown, the captain, looking again, thought about trying to get that offload away, made the decision in the end to keep the ball in his hands, probably the correct decision. And now Batley look over to that left-hand side. Josh Woods to McGowan. McGowan cuts back in, and they've got a penalty for his troubles as well. Tackle just slightly high. I think it was one of those ones that just kind of rode off the shoulders and upwards. And a real opportunity now for Batley. They're going to keep it rolling, not going for 2 points. Probably the correct decision in the circumstances, Alex. Yeah, I mean, they've started really well, and they look like they're troubling Keighley, so it's interesting. I mean, obviously in the big games, easy 2 points are quite nice to take, but they've decided to go for and test their arms, but they might pay off here in the corner. Well, I think it is going to pay off, and it's Lucas Walshaw opens the scoring for the home side. Gifted that penalty 10 metres out, and they've made it count. Just bumped off the defender, and we have our first try of the afternoon. A great start then for the Bulldogs, and on the balance probably deserved. They were just winning the arm wrestle, they just threw the hands, and in the end Walshaw, too big and strong, bumps his way through over the try line for 4 points. And on the measure of play so far, Batley were just kind of winning the ruck slightly, just getting the better of momentum, better of the arm wrestle, so to speak, and in the end probably a deserved lead 10 minutes in. I think so. I think you can say they've probably got the most energy out of the two sides. Look like they've got more energy. There's a lot more push and support, and I think I expect them to take the 2 points, to be honest. Cup game, 2 easy points from a penalty, but they backed themselves to go for the try, and they've come up goods. And Lucas Walshaw, 6'5", is a massive second rower. He's big, he's strong, he's powerful, and give him some open space, he'll finish try. So they'll be really happy with the start Batley have had. And I think they'll worthy leaders so far. Well, it's going to be Dale Morton on kicking duty for the home side, seeing if you can turn those 4 points into 6. Perhaps just you spoke about the speed of the play, the ball, and how difficult it is tracking back up the hill here, and just perhaps a little bit of kind of home field advantage, street smarts from Batley, who obviously play here every week. Yeah, I think so. Look, they know this ground really well, and obviously it's different to normal pitches. But I think, I think Keighley will be quite disappointed with the way they've started. To become downhill in the first half, they want to have made a really good impact at the start of the game, and I think they've been caught out surprised a little bit by Batley's quick ruck speed, and yeah, look, and they find themselves 4 points behind now, and look, I think they will expect a deep kick here and a big response from Keighley.
Well, the 2 points missed, but it's still a 4-point lead for the Bulldogs. Lucas Walshaw crashing over, and Keighley get us back underway. Real spiral on that kick, but taken really well by Morton. And he carries it up to the 20-metre line. And Batley begin again. This time coming down this right edge.
Yeah, again, too easy for Batley to get forward though. Another quick play of the ball, left the marker on the floor with only one marker. We've got another 15-20 metres gain upfield, and they're already touching the halfway line. So yeah, another good start to Batley set, and a disappointing defensively set from Keighley.
Really good post-contact meters from Josh Hodson. It makes such a difference, doesn't it, to the forward pack when you've got outside backs that can step in and make yardage like that as well. Absolutely.
If you can get some quick play the balls off the outside backs, it makes your job as a middle so much easier, running off the back of a retreating defence, and that's why we're seeing the punches being punched through the holes of the Keighley defence.
So slightly slower play the ball. Aidan McGowan just trying to jump his way through the line to no avail. So they come to this left-hand side, and the kick goes up from Josh Woods. It's a high one, really well taken in the end by Lewis Young in that fullback jersey for Keighley. And they just need to settle here, don't they? They've conceded after being in the arm wrestle. They need to just get themselves back into it, run through the plays and see what they can do, you know, see where they can turn this ball over. Yeah,
I think so. I think that's a great take by the fullback, and you know, gives him a bit of confidence going in. But Keighley need to find the feet a little bit here, get to the end of the set. So they haven't completed the last 2 sets, so this is a big set for them to complete, and yeah, look for the field position again.
Well, good yards from Stevenson, and then Crooks following it up from the play the ball. Stopped just short of the 40-metre line. So probably the best field position that the Cougars have had recently in this game for sure. I only cut down on the 30-metre line, and Gale again puts that hugely high kick spiralling up in the air, down in that corner, but really well dealt with. Elliot Keir.
Yeah, that's going to be disappointing for Keighley. Another great kick by Luke Gale, and you know, for him to evade 2 tackles from the kick chase, you know, it's disappointing. But again, you know, Batley are just playing the ball too quickly, getting out of dummy half, playing the ball quick, going after another retreating defence. Yeah, it's a struggle for a minute for Keighley.
Two plays in a row there where cheap yards made, just scooting from dummy half, and already Batley find themselves on the halfway line, having been down in that corner. And they'll be very pleased with the yardage they've made on this set as we come into the 5th. So they come over to that skinny side. It's Josh Woods who stabs a kick through. In the end, fielded by Charlie Graham. Keighley will start with the football on the 22-metre line.
Yeah, I expect again probably a simple set from Keighley. They want to keep building back into the game. You know, I think Luke Gale's been quite quiet at the minute. He's not really had an opportunity to have any sort of impact apart from his kick. So I think the pack needs to sort of work a little bit harder here, get some play the ball speed to allow the halfbacks to come into it.
Well, Ben Crooks has made a lot of yards carrying. Here is Luke Gale as they come over to this right-hand side. Lewis Young maybe caught in 2 minds about whether to look for the gap or pass. In the end, he's brought down on the halfway line. Gale comes out to the right-hand side. So that's 5th. On the 40-metre line. Oh, and a bit of a lack of communication. So they're going to have to do this the unplanned way. The kick goes in over the top. This could work for Keighley. In the end, just one bounce, perhaps too many, too high. Batley will restart with the ball on the 20-metre line.
Yeah, a little bit scruffy from Keighley, but nearly worked out for him in the end. Yeah, everyone loves a kick and chase, but yeah, just a little bit, bounced a little bit too far for him, but I think they'll be happy with the result in the end.
So 15 minutes played in this Betfred Challenge Cup tie. It's the Batley Bulldogs who lead 4-0, courtesy of Lucas Walshaw's opening try on that right edge. And they're on the prowl again here, looking to march the Cougars up the field. That's the 5th. So the ball will go high into the air from Josh Woods. But again, dealt with well. And it just seems to be every set so far, the last few sets certainly for the Cougars have been starting from that 20-metre mark or so. And there's an error, but there's going to be a penalty.
Yeah, they've been dominating the field position and Batley, but yeah, come up with the I think it's for a ball steal on James Brown, which will be disappointing because you're right, they had been dominating the field position, but I think this is a much needed penalty for Keighley. It gives them an opportunity to keep the ball deep.
Well, there were definitely hands from James Brown in and around that ball.
Yeah.
Always the risk you take when you start getting involved with the ball as a tackler, and that's a good kick. Luke Gale using the hilt to his advantage. And this is Keighley's best opportunity of the afternoon.
Yeah, it is, and you know, an opportunity for him to, if not get points on the board, but to win the field position back in their favour, and yeah, keep Batley down to back in their own half.
And he takes it up to the line, then goes out the back. Stevenson brings it in well. Just trying to find a little bit of space. Crooks perhaps could have stayed slightly wider out on this touchline so the move shuts down. They've got an opportunity here 20 metres out to really put this Batley defence under duress for the first time this afternoon. That's Brendan Sancy bringing the ball up to the 10-metre line. They come out to the left again, keeping the ball in hand.
Yeah, good defence by Batley. Yeah, they turn up well for each other at the minute.
So Gale coming out to the right. Looks like they're going to shift it from one edge to the other here, and there could be there could be space. There could be space, there is. Robbie Story. He just fainted to pass, just fainted to give the ball to the outside man a little bit, opened himself that gap and went straight through it, and a perfect response to Keighley after going down in the first 10 minutes. We have a level ball game, 4-4 with the kick to come. Yeah, they've been by far the second best team in today's contest, but the two got a chance now for 2 points to go into the lead, and this is what happens. I think, you know, obviously James Brown with the unnecessary penalty for me allowed Keighley into Batley's It's just numbers there, isn't it? Because they get the shift from one edge to the other, and it's just a numbers game for that Batley edge to try and solve. And in the end, clever play from Robbie Story, deciding to keep the ball in hand. Just a little feint of a dummy, shrugs off the defender.
Yeah, it's great
on the board.
Great bit of skill. I think, you know, obviously to bring them down to the left side, the compress the defence of Batley and open up the space on the outside, and yeah, they took it really, really well. And yeah, 2 points now, hopefully off this kick, and they find themselves in a lead what they probably didn't expect to find themselves in.
Well, if there was anyone that you were going to ask to kick from the sideline, Luke Gale would be pretty high up that list, I would imagine. Seen him do it for years, of course, in the Super League, now doing it for Keighley in the Betfred Championship and Challenge Cup. But considering the way the game had been going, that penalty for the ball strip, a real tie-turner. Yeah, it was, and like I said, they'll be frustrating because they'd been dominated the field position as Luke Gale just misses the kick. So yeah, look, they'll be frustrated with that Batley, but you know, especially to come undone on their first sort of test in good ball. But again, yeah, 4-4 now, game on, and I think Keighley will grow from this. Yeah, really good work from Robbie Story. He knew he had the overlap and could see the winger just over chasing a little bit, and he knew that the space was either going to come in front of him or in front of Charlie Graham out on that right. Kept the ball in hand, and we have a level ball game with 19 minutes or so played. Really interesting tie so far. Hope you're enjoying it here live and exclusive on the Sportsman as we start again. Keighley getting the ball, and we've said his name a lot already. Brendan Sancy in that 15 jersey for Keighley, getting a lot of work in. Yeah, he's been an handful. You know, alongside Mark Ione, they've been Keighley's best for me so far, and you know, they've carried tough, so they'll be looking to play off the back of their play the ball speed. You're just starting to feel as if Keighley are just starting to turn the tide in the ruck a little bit. They're speeding it up themselves now. Yeah, it's a marked difference from where they start the game, and they've just got an offload here now as well. And yeah, look, they look like they've grown in confidence from that try, and yeah, Batley need to regather here. Well, Lewis Young making some additional metres that perhaps weren't initially on offer. Keeping the ball just inside their own half. Santi again for his second carry. He's getting through the work. And it's a good carry as well, 10 or 12 metres made. And this is already a better position than Luke Gale has kicked from at times in this game. Yeah, but McGowan safe underneath that ball. They look like they're the side full of energy at the minute, Keighley. They've got the energy, they've got the wind behind the sails, and yeah, look, they've really seemed like they've been reinvigorated by that try and really grown into the match. Well, Morton carrying up just short of the 30. Batley have been starting sets kind of on the 40-metre line and above, so that is a real win at this stage in the game.
Good carry though by Lucas Walshaw.
Yeah, Lucas Walshaw's looked a real handful, hasn't he, on this right edge, scoring that opening try, of course. Kay now shipping out to the left to White.
Yeah, wins the 6 again as well as Lucas Walshaw, which will be good for Batley. Yeah, disappointing for Keighley, but yeah, they've one big carry, it can all change again.
Late in the set as well, which is exactly when you want to be winning those 6 agains. Martin Riley now carrying up over the 40-metre line. And Batley bring it out to the right with Woods. Oh, McGowan nearly got his nose through the line there, just cut down, but for a split second might have thought he was through. But good meters again for the Bulldogs. Tom Lillycrops makes some really strong carries already. What can they do with the ball on the Cougars line? Riley cut down, this is the 5th. So they come out to the left-hand side, they're going to keep it in hand. I think Keighley have dealt with it. Interesting that that's twice now that Batley have chosen to keep the ball in hand on 5th tackle in those good ball positions rather than going for the kick and looking for the try, perhaps the repeat set.
Yeah, it is, and you know, I think it's a smart play as well. I think obviously we talked about field position. You know, sometimes you can go for a kick, you can give a 7 tackle set away by either kicking dead or being caught in goal. So I don't mind that play. You're turning the ball over in a tough position for Keighley to come out, and yeah, it fires up that defence. So yeah, no, I don't mind that. I don't mind that play at all.
We're already a couple of tackles into this set. Keighley only on their own 20-metre line, so it has worked so far as a tactic for the Bulldogs. Sansi with another strong carry though, finds his front. Decent speed on the play of the ball, and now they reverse it. Luke Gale, again, just thought he'd perhaps stepped into some space, but really good defending in the end. And the kick is a bit of an improvised one with Gale on the floor. Has that gone out on the full?
I think that's a 40-20.
I think it is.
Yeah, confusion there for the fullback.
McGowan making perhaps the same mistake as me, thinking that ball was heading straight out, but a 40-20, and what a play that is, because I'm not sure that was the plan to the end of that set, but they've come up trumps, and a great opportunity now for Keighley to go back-to-back.
Yeah, obviously, you know, I think he's got confused whether he was inside the 40 or if he was going dead, but yeah, Keighley found themselves again in a good promising position. Let's see if Batley can hold them out this time.
So they come over to this left edge. Lewis Young just stumbling. Stopped on the 10-metre line. And it's a slow play. But Keighley with tackles in their pocket. Aaron Levy stopped short of the line, and now they bring over to the right-hand side. Luke Gale with a long miss-out pass. And it was just that second ball. Robbie Story, the hero last time they were in this part of the field, just couldn't quite gather it in. It's a good pass from Luke Gale, but it's just almost a little bit too quick, isn't it, from Robbie Story? It
is, but it seems like the target in that left edge of Batley caught him short again, and I think if that goes to hand, we've got another try. So yeah, opportunity missed for Keighley, but again, they look quite threatening down that right-hand side.
A let-off for Batley then after that 40-20. They've still got the challenger bringing the ball away from their own line. Scrum just the other side of the 10-metre mark. So again, Keighley won't be too upset with where they've turned the ball over, but that was a chance begging. And that's Dale Morton with the carry up to the 20. And again, they go to the skinny side and they'll get a penalty. So a real piggyback, a real coach killer for Keighley, a reliever for the Bulldogs. And it's just interesting where those penalties and those errors have come into this game, Alan.
Yeah, they have both times from both teams when the opposition are sort of under the pump a little bit. So to give out these sort of let-offs is going to be frustrating for the coaches, because you want to, in these big games, in Challenge Cup matches, you want to sustain the pressure, sustain the field position, and so to give away cheap penalties is they won't be too happy.
So Lillycrop just the other side of the 40-metre line. As Batley look to make the most of that gift. What can they do here as they come over to the left? Keighley just starting to get a little bit of control in these tackles, turning bodies around, getting them onto their back. But this is a good position for Batley to be in.
Yeah, I think they'll be looking to, if not score points, at least stay up here, perhaps get a repeat set. So, yeah, see if Keighley can hold out.
This is the fifth. Again, they keep the ball in hand. That's the third time in a row they've opted to ignore the kick option.
Yeah, clearly it's a plan of theirs, and they must have obviously wanted to do that throughout the week. But honestly, I don't mind that. I think as a play, to turn the ball over on Keighley's 5 metre line is a good result for Batley, and they'll want to aim up in defence now.
Especially at this time in the game as well. You're not going to win it in the opening 25 minutes, half an hour, are you? But you can put the pressure on and turn the screw and put the onus on Keighley to not make an error.
Absolutely. Coming from your own 5 metre line, it's a big ask sometimes. But look, obviously Batley have got the downhill slope to come into them in the second half. So, yeah, they're not necessarily looking to win in the game in the first half.
Keighley on the attack here, really good from Luke Gale, bringing the ball up to the line. And some good meters made over on that right-hand side. And now Ione making the carry and then gets the offload away to Adabi. A real handful, former Wakefield and London Broncos man, and even going backwards, he's making good yards there, gets the offload away. And a real roll on there from Keighley. Chief yards made, and all of a sudden they've turned this set into a very profitable one.
They have, yeah. Say the start of the meter on the start of the the set on the wrong 5 metre line to be down here now, kicking in good ball. There'll be, yeah, 2 great offloads, and yeah, Keighley just seems to be playing a little bit faster than Batley at the minute.
Gale puts it high, up in the air, and it's dealt with in the end by Keir, and he'll get a penalty as well.
Again, they'll be frustrated with that. Find themselves after a great yardage set to kick the ball and then to give away a penalty. Yeah, look, you can't do that. You've got to sustain the pressure in these games, and they're giving up too many let-offs.
Yeah, it's a good kick from Gale, but yeah, just think offside in the end is the call from the referee. And Batley will benefit from an extra 20 metres or so from the penalty.
Yeah, but again, I think considering where the game started, the first 10-15 minutes was all Batley. But Keighley have really come back into this match. I think they're defending a lot better now. As we see there, Keegan Hurst being put onto his back and another slow play the ball. They're going much better, but again, and ever.
Well, Keegan Hurst onto the field, as we've just seen, getting involved in an early carry, but he's got some defending to do now. It's a lapse in conversation, I think. Yep, it wasn't expecting the ball, pops up off his shoulder, and Keighley with an opportunity now to make that error count. And a penalty for a strip.
Yeah.
To just make Batley suffer even more.
Yeah, they just look a bit rattled at the minute, Batley. Obviously to come up with the error and then the penalty as well. Yeah, they're not doing themselves any favours.
Well, Batley of the opinion that was a one-on-one strip. I can certainly see in the replay, can certainly understand where they're coming from. But the referee has made the decision, and ultimately that's all that counts. And Keighley looking to make it pay. Gale again, they're targeting this right-hand side.
Good defence.
Batley standing firm. Gale looking for Brendan Santi on that crash ball. Cut down 6 or 7 metres short. Now they come over to this right-hand side. But again, it's a few times from both sides that communications just seem to be a little bit off. And I'm not sure Lewis Young was especially expecting that.
No.
It's just slightly too far out to his right-hand side, isn't it? And
yeah, it's
a real let-off.
It's not the greatest of passes, but I look at the way Batley celebrated that. That's a big result for them. I think they've been under the pump a little bit now. So for them to force that error, they will pump. They celebrated it almost as if they scored a try. But yeah, another disappointing end to the set for Keighley.
So Batley giving another let-off on their own 10-metre line. That's a really strong carry from Dale Morton, and he gets an offload away. The ball bouncing around. Neither team have been scared, have they, to get the offload away in the tackle?
No, they've been forcing it a little bit. Most of the time it's come up good as well. But yeah, look, they're playing an expansive style of rugby. They're backing the skill. I think they'll want to probably compete their sets a little bit better. But yeah, look, it's really, really exciting style of rugby.
Well, Batley coming down this right-hand side. Hodson stopped just short of the halfway line. Still a couple of tackles in their pocket. And that's Michael Ward onto the field for the Bulldogs. So they've rotated the pack a little bit with Ward and Hurst coming on just to try and freshen the legs, a bit of fresh impetus for the Bulldogs.
Yeah,
and they'll end this set just inside the 40-metre line. So the kick goes up into the air. Josh Woods, high, hanging, swirling all over the place. And I think that's Charlie Graham underneath it. He's done really well. But a really good place, again, for Batley to be turning the ball over, Alex.
Yeah, real good set again. You mentioned the middles, the interchanges have come on. They brought some size on. I think they were probably feeling they was losing the field position again. But, yeah, good end set, great kick, but a really good take by the fullback. So, yeah, big ask for Santi now coming out off his line. Another big carry. They weren't looking for him then, but yeah, I love a quick play the ball. He's been really good.
And what a bonus that is for Batley when you look at the names on the bench. Ward, Hurst, Gledhill, all really established forwards at this level. A real bonus to be able to bring those on 25 minutes, half an hour into the fight or so. That's a really high kick. But McGowan, as he has been pretty much all afternoon, safe underneath it. And Batley will start on the 22-metre line. And this is a really intriguing kind of phase in the game, Alex, because after Batley took that lead and then Keighley responded, we've been back into that arm wrestle, and it's tricky to say at this point which side is in the ascendancy.
Yeah, it's really come back down to the middle and the play the ball speed. I think being on the forwards for Batley will hopefully create that for them, but I just like the way Keighley have grown into that match. I think coming off the back of some of the Santi carries in particular, they look more comfortable than they did at the start, and come up to half-time, they'll want to make sure they finish really well.
Well, James Meadows also onto the field. Ball in his hands now with a drop-off ball to Michael Ward for Batley. He stopped just the other side of the halfway line, so this is fifth. White brings it out to the left-hand side, and the ball will go up into the air from Josh Woods. Again, spiralling around, but in the end, dealt with relatively easily. Keighley just starting with the ball, maybe 5-10 metres further up the field than they have done maybe in the early stages of this game. Yeah,
there was catching on the 5 and the 10, which shows that, catching the ball now on the 20-25 metre line, it's, they're turning the tide a little bit and they're finishing the half stronger. But again, it's finally in the balance, and, there's still a lot to be done.
Well, the first 33 minutes of this game have absolutely flown by. Be interesting to see what the approach is from both teams. Neither will want to go in at the breakdown. But I tell you what, they both love a try as well in the same breath, and it is Keighley with the ball in hand at the moment, coming up to the 40-metre line. Doyle from the play of the ball. They come out to the right. Gale, and again,
he's picked it up.
Lewis Young. And Batley have kept going here. We're going to go back to the first knock-on, though, and it was just Lewis Young. I don't know if he's just a case of almost playing the next phase of that before he's done the basics of catching it, but a couple of times they've just looked a little bit disjointed when they've looked out to that edge and tried to bring the full back in.
They have, yeah, and I think coming at obviously the target in their right edge, Batley's left edge, and obviously they must fancy some joy there, but again, I think he's too busy thinking about probably the next pass after rather than doing the first things first, which is catching the ball. So a wasted opportunity for Keighley there. I think they had him on the overlap, and they'll be really disappointed with that.
So Batley with the scrum in the middle of the field, probably about 45 metres away from their own line, just inside their own half. And they come out to this right, Josh Hodgson with the first carry of the set. White from acting half. Gledhill bumps off one player. Keeps going, still going, cut down in the end. And again, White from the play the ball out to Meadows. He brings it back on the inside to Keegan Hurst. Hurst making some good post-contact meters and a quick play the ball. And White again out to Meadows. Meadows coming over to the left-hand side. Ward takes it into the line. Good start to this set for Batley, Alex.
Yeah, good start. Using the 3 big boys off the bench to carry strong, create themselves some opportunities.
Looking to get some space perhaps over on that left-hand side. The Keighley defence holds firm, but they've got all of this field now, and this time they do go for the kick.
Well done.
And I think difficult to see from where we are. That post is in the way.
Yeah, big.
The referee's given a goal line dropout, so a repeat set. A fantastic result, really, for Batley.
Yeah, repeat set, first repeat.
Yeah, look, the kick comes through. And he brings it in, but touches down over his own line.
He does really well there. Obviously, there was plenty of Batley runners going through, so I know they've give up a repeat set. But
Keegan Hurst off the back fence here, the ball sitting up for him. There's nothing else to do, is there, for a prop forward in that situation apart from pin the ears back and have a go at the line.
that's it. It was happy it bounced first, I think.
He's got his side on the front foot. Michael Ward with the follow-up carry. You can see the difference those interchanges have made for the Bulldogs. Oh, well, I'm not sure that Josh Woods knew really what he was doing. I think he went for the pass. It wasn't on, kept it in hand, and he found his way through the line. And a real opportunity here for Batley. McGowan coming into the line, cut short, 5 metres from the try line. Hodgson shapes the pass but keeps the ball in hand, and I think he's muscled his way over. The fans behind the sticks like it, the referee likes it, and Batley have their noses back in front. It was the repeat set that put the Keighley line under pressure after a really clever kick, and some strong carries from the middles got them the field position they needed. And it's Josh Hodgson muscling his way over from the play the ball. Batley lead 8-4 with the kick to come.
Yeah, some big carries by the forwards. We mentioned them coming off the bench, and I think they've changed the speed for Batley.
It's just that little shape, isn't it, from Hodgson? The dummy just catching the defenders around the ruck, the A and B defender slightly unawares, and he just gets his head down, muscles his way over, and that's 4 defenders he had on him, so he's done really well there to keep himself moving forward, get the legs pumping and get over the line.
Just saw Will and Want there. All Will and Want. I think they'll be disappointed at Keighley conceding that. They had 3-4 defenders there. You know, to not stop him from there that close to the line, they'll be really disappointed.
Well, Meadows with the opportunity, taking over kicking duty since he's come onto the field to stretch this lead out to 6 points. I think he's just put it to the left-hand side of the post. He has, so it stays a 4-point game. A couple of minutes or so left. That clock on your screen is just an indicator. It is not the official timekeeper's clock, but we've not had too many stoppages, so I don't think it'll be far off. But exactly as you've said, Alex, what the Cougars wouldn't have wanted with a few minutes left in this half, find themselves going in at the break potentially 4 points down. Yeah,
I think the way that they've sort of turned the tide in the game, they started off really poorly, but I thought they built into it really well. But unfortunately, they've finished the half poorly and they find themselves behind now, and yeah, potentially going in at half-time down.
And Ward, big carry from the kickoff. And then Hurst following that up again, bumping a couple of defenders off. Really good yardage carries. It's been an enthralling first 38 minutes or so of this game. It's swung one way and then the other. Both teams having patches where they've looked like they're on top, but then an error or a penalty or a real moments of brilliance like the 40-20 has swung it back around.
Yeah, I think the difference for me so far in the two teams has been that interchange. Again, we see Keegan Hurst with his second carry of the set, marching Batley upfield and allowing them to kick in good position as they go for a 40-20.
Well, Meadows looking for that corner. It won't make the touchline, but it's a really good kick in the end, turning Lewis Young round at fullback. But he gets the ball away, and Ben Crooks has got some space here, and that is fantastic covering work from Lucas Walshaw. But then a little bit of afters going on here. Just waiting to see which way the referee is going to give this. Here you can see the breakaway. Ben Crooks finding some space. Really good covering work from Walshaw.
Oh, I'm not too sure about that decision. They give the scrum to Batley for going out of field, but for me the tackle was completed. And
looked to me as if that ball carrying arm was down and the tackle was complete. So Keighley may feel slightly hard done by.
Yeah.
But ultimately they've got some defending to do again here in the dying embers of this first half. And given where the game was a few minutes ago, if Batley can take this opportunity and get another score before half-time, that'll be a massive swing.
Yeah, especially mentally, I think it'll take a toll. And
again, the offload from Ward. They come over to his right-hand side. Meadows, brilliant offload from Hodgson.
And the finish.
And I think he is going to score in the corner if this gets given, and it is. That is a remarkable finish over on that right-hand side from Dale Morton. I think he's hurt himself in the process.
Yeah. It seems to be okay now, but what a finish, what an offload leading up to it. I think Keighley will be I think that they'll feel hard done to by the decision. I think they should have got a penalty for that man being pushed into touch. But what a bit of skill! What an offload!
It's a really good carry in the end from Ward. The first offload, and then this Meadows with a great pass. Morton on the offload from Hodgson, and what a finish that is. These boys know the TV cameras are in town because that was all Champagne Rugby League. What an offload from Hodgson, and what about that for a finish? Yeah. Dale Morton, one for the show reel.
Unbelievable.
There's the hooter
finish
as well. So from nowhere, Alex, Batley are going in at the halfway mark, potentially 10 points ahead.
Yeah.
And you know, we talk about, you know, if this was a boxing match, they've just got 2 sucker punches in right before the bell. That's
absolutely. I think they'll obviously go now with in the ascendancy of the 2 teams, and but what a bit of skill that was there. I think absolutely world class bit of skill, and the finish would be something Tommy Makinson or Tom Johnson would be proud of in the Super League. Yeah, amazing bit of skill. I think Keighley, again, I was mentioning it, will feel hard done to from that decision being pushed into touch. But look, Batley will be going really happy now. I think the interchange bench have really changed the course of this match. I think what Michael Ward, Adam Gedill and Keegan Hurst have done have really changed the game.
And he's got the kick as well, right from the touchline. Fantastic kick from Meadows, topping off a fantastic drive from the Batley Bulldogs. This is the decision, Alex. It's Crooks. Yeah. Well, I think Keighley perhaps will feel that they've been hard done by there, and perhaps I can understand why. But then this from Batley, all class. Really good from Meadows, bringing the ball to the line. The flick offload from Hodgson, and the Superman finish, one arm out. As you've mentioned, we see it all the time in the Super League, but that is as good as you get from Dale Morton. And all of a sudden, it's a very different looking ball game than it was with 5 minutes or so left in the half. Batley Bulldogs 14, Keighley Cougars 4. A really, really entertaining 40 minutes of Betfred Challenge Cup. So let's have a run back from the tries. This is the first one through the hands from the Bulldogs, and it's Walshaw Alex who just finds himself too big and strong in the end to score.
That's exactly that. Too big, too strong. Found himself against the little half-back there. Too much space, and yeah, real good finish and the perfect start for Batley.
And at that point in the game, it looked like Batley were getting themselves well on top. They were winning the ruck, but Keighley hit back. This is another really good try. They bring it all the way out to the right. It's just a numbers game at this point. The short ball from Addy Bay, and then it's Robbie Story with the dummy.
Yeah, really good skill. Obviously, I think they've been targeting the left edge of Batley. They looked a little bit, you know, out of sorts. Did the winger in the centre there, and yeah, exploited the overlap.
And then after that, we got into a real arm wrestle, and this was only with a few minutes left in the half. And I think this is that last try just before half time again, isn't it? Morton with the finish. I mean, I could watch that all day long. Every bit of this is really, really good. The offload from Ward, just never letting the play die. Eyes up. Batley reacting to it really well. It's a good pass from Meadows from the line. That offload is superb, and look at this for a finish. Yeah, not much you can do about that as an edge defence when you've got a player who can finish those kind of tries.
That's it. 2 fantastic offloads, first by Michael Ward, and that one by the centre would be something Greg Inglis would be proud of. Yeah, unbelievable bit of skill to find them in the corner.
Well, it's a beautiful afternoon here in Batley, and we are being served a fantastic Betfred Challenge Cup 5th round tie. Don't forget, of course, the big boys, the Super League clubs, like this man next to me, Alex, and his St Helens teammates coming in the next round. There's also the 1895 Cup to think about as well, and a potential trip to Wembley. But it is the Batley Bulldogs in control at the break. They lead the Keighley Cougars 14 points to 4.
And a Super League season comes to its conclusion here tonight. It is 4 in a row.
Robinson is a moment for long. He's digged in. A brilliant try.
Incredibly proud of my time in the sport. The sport means a great deal to me. It's given me everything I've got. probably more so the friendships and memories that I've got. So to see the shirt behind represent three things that I love dearly: the sport rugby league, international rugby league in England, the M&D community, and of course Rob Burrow. You combine those three and it's very, very powerful, and delighted to see the shirt. It's designed on an England shirt going back to about 2012. Obviously it was red and white, but with the M&D colours on it now, that same design, it's really fitting and special. You know, Rob is celebrated in this way, the impact and how great it was an England shirt.
Because here comes Ellis, and Burrow is a flying machine just to his left. Up he goes, scooting away.
For rugby league to get behind it and sharing it, I think is incredible. And those guys who get to wear the shirt will feel 10 feet tall having worn it, and there's some irony in that because Rob was only 5'4", but he's been a giant and continues to inspire everybody, and I'm sure the guys who get the chance to wear it will be absolutely inspired. Please keep supporting the M&D community and of course our good friend Rob Burrow. You're all making a massive difference and you're helping provide hope to a community that really need us.
And a Super League season comes to its conclusion here tonight. It is 4 in a row.
Robinson is a moment for long. He's kicked it. A brilliant try.
You're watching the Sportsman Rugby League,
the home of Rugby League online.
Subscribe for exclusive live games from the Betfred Women's Super League and Challenge Cup.
Incredibly proud of my time in the sport. The sport means a great deal to me. It's given me everything I've got, probably more so the friendships and memories that I've got. So to see the shirt behind represent three things that I love dearly: the sport rugby league, international rugby league in England, the M&D community, and of course Rob Burrow. You combine those three and it's very, very powerful, and delighted to see the shirt. It's designed on an England shirt going back to about 2012. Obviously it was red and white, but with the M&D colours on it now, that same design, it's really fitting and special. You know, Rob is celebrated in this way, the impact and how great it was an England shirt.
Because here comes Ellis, and Burrow is a flying machine just to his left. Up he goes, scooting away.
For rugby league to get behind it and sharing it, I think is incredible, and those guys who get to wear the shirt will feel 10 feet tall having worn it, and there's some irony in that because Rob was only 5'4", but he's been a giant and continues to inspire everybody, and I'm sure the guys who get the chance to wear it will be absolutely inspired. Please keep supporting the M&D community and of course our good friend Rob Burrow. You're all making a massive difference and you're helping provide hope to a community that really need us.
Oh, that's a big one. He's powered over the man and scored! Oh, what a claim! And what a try!
Yeah, loads to look forward to in the coming weeks. Always exciting to see England back in action. They take off France in that double header, men's and women's, at Warrington next weekend. And of course, as always, join us 6 o'clock this Wednesday for the last tackle right here on the Sportsman Rugby League. All the latest from the greatest game on earth. But right here in Batley, Betfred Challenge Cup action And it is the Bulldogs who lead at half-time, 14-4. A real flurry, 2 tries back-to-back, a couple of minutes before the half-time hooter, putting them in control of this one. And Alex, we talk about the hill. I don't want to kind of talk about it too much because we all know it's there, but turning around in the second half with a 10-point lead in your pocket, going down the slope, psychologically must be a really good place to be for Batley.
Yeah, it really is. I think the way they finished the half, full of energy in the ascendancy, to come down the hill now with that lead, they'll be full of confidence. And I worry for Keighley a little bit. I think they need to start the half really well if they want to get themselves back into this match, because it's a tough ask coming back up the hill, especially when you're behind.
And it felt like almost a real coaching masterclass from Craig Lingard, the Batley Bulldogs coach, because he kept his cards in his pocket a little bit, and then he got those interchanges bang on, bringing Keegan Hurst, especially Michael Ward as well, into the game. And those last 10 minutes of that first half, they made such an impact. Yeah,
for me, again, that was the difference between the two sides in the end. It was quite tit for tat in that first sort of 30 minutes, but when the big boys come off the bench in Ward, Gledhill and Keegan Hurst, they really sort of accelerated that, play the ball up for Batley. Plenty of offloads, good, quick, strong carries, and suddenly found themselves in good, strong positions. And Keighley struggled to handle them, so they'll be disappointed that with the way that they finished at half, and in particular looking after those big ball carriers. And
a contentious decision that led to that try just before the break. It almost felt as if Keighley were still kind of smarting from that a little bit when they were then tasked with defending their own goal line. They need to. How important is it? Maybe half-time came at the perfect time in that respect to clear their heads and just play this set by set and work their way back into this slowly now. Yeah, look, all you can do as players is control the things you can control, and you take the referee's decisions out of that. I think between the ref and the linesman, they got that one wrong, and I think Keighley was rattled a little bit by that. But still, at the same time, it was an amazing bit of skill by Batley to score the try. The offloads and the finish in the corner by Dale Morton was something special. But half time's here now. Keighley get a chance to regather, recharge the energy a little bit, and they need to come out flying, because I think they need a big sort of 10-15 minutes to stamp themselves into this half if they want a chance of coming back and winning. It's a beautiful afternoon here in Yorkshire as the two teams come back out. The Challenge Cup, the Betfred Challenge Cup, very much alive and well. And we await the introduction of the 12 Super League clubs, of course, in the next round. But 40 minutes until we get to that stage, until we know which one of these two sides will be in the hat. At the moment, it's the Batley Bulldogs with their noses in front, that 10-point lead, edging them towards a place in the next round of the Cup, and of course a place closer to Wembley, if not in the Betfred Challenge Cup, in the 1895 Cup. It's part of that remarkable triple header we're going to have at that incredible stadium under the arch, with the women's final, of course, being played there for the first time, the men's Betfred Challenge Cup final, and that 1895 Cup final as well. What a day that is going to be in August, but a lot of rugby league to be played until we can start thinking about that, and a lot of work to be done for the Keighley Cougars if they're going to turn this around, Alex.
Yeah, I mentioned it before, they need to start well. I think Luke Gale will want to have a big say in what happens in the second half. I think we saw in the first half the impact of his kicking game can have on this side, so they'll look to introduce him a little bit more. I think he needs, but first and foremost, he needs to control the ruck speed of Batley, look after the big ball carriers, and give themselves half a chance if they want to progress and find themselves in that next hat.
Well, it's Batley that will get first possession of the football in this second half. Going down the slope, as they always like to here in the second period. They've done the hard graft in the first 40 going up it. They're 40 minutes away from a place in the next round of the Betfred Challenge Cup. So here we go. A big half on the way for both of these sides. What are we going to get? It's Batley with the ball coming up to the 40-metre line. And really, for them, it's very simple what they need to do, isn't it, Alex?
Absolutely. I think the game plan's going to be simple now from Batley. Run hard, compete on the floor, play the ball fast and kick long. That's all they need to do now for 40 minutes. They don't need to chase any points. They just need to get through the sets and find themselves getting the job done.
Well, they've kept Gledhill, Ward and Hurst out there, the players that made a real difference when they were introduced midway through that first half. And it's worth mentioning as well that the range of talent on both sides of the field, there's plenty of internationals out there. Oh, Batley just rolled the dice a little bit, put the kick up, couldn't quite keep it in. And Keighley will get the ball back in a reasonable starting position. But just going back to my point, Alex, you know, you've got the Wales captain out on this left edge for Batley, Elliot Keir. Luke Gale played in that World Cup final alongside yourself not too long ago. There's a lot of experience and, you know, international standard footballers out there.
There is, and they need to draw on that experience if they want to find themselves back in the game. Look, for me, I was looking at first set by Batley, you know, to the rolled Keighley again, 65, 70 metres. If it weren't for a poor kick, they'd find themselves on the roll line as well. So, look, plenty of experience, especially, like saying, Luke Gale, who's getting on his hand on the ball here now.
Well, Gale brings it up to the line, drops off to Story. He's brought down on the 40-metre mark. Doyle out of dummy half for Keighley. A hint of a forward pass there, but flat, I think, is the judgment from the linesman. And this is fifth. Gale putting the ball up into the air. I think that's Morton underneath it. Ball comes loose, but it's gone backwards. And McGowan looking to get his side out of a little bit of trouble. He does really well in the end, the fullback. Still going, eventually brought down. I've been really impressed with Aidan McGowan.
Yeah, he's coming for Luke Cooley, who's gone back to Leeds, who's been on a loan here. So they're speaking really highly of McGowan. I know he's a Huddersfield product, and yeah, he started the game really well, been really good under the high ball, and he's returned the ball into field at a good pace as well.
Kieran Buchanan, another World Cup representative in this side, taking the carry, and then Elliot Keir picking the ball up. Batley outside backs, getting their hands dirty, doing some of the yardage work early on in this half. And then White keeps the ball in his hands from dummy half. And he's brought down 35 metres or so short on the fifth tackle. So what can he do with this kick? It comes out to Woods. Puts it high into the air, spiralling. In the end, Lewis Young does well underneath it, and he does well to keep himself in the field of play and not give away the goal line dropout. But look where Keighley is starting again, Alex.
Again, yeah, I've said it all throughout the game, to be honest. Batley has found it too easy to get down into the opposition's half. Kicking on the front foot, and Keighley found himself on the 5-metre line trying to go 100 metres. It's a tough ask.
So Keighley the ball on their own 20-metre line. Luke Gale barking at his troops. They need every bit of his experience, don't they? Oh, but he's come up with an error, Luke Gale. Commentator's curse. And Batley now with an opportunity to make it count. The ball's pinging around all over the place. Someone just needs to get this in and settle it. Elliot Keir says, I'll do that.
I'll be disappointed with that. Well, Luke Gale, we've spoke about his experience. He's played in the biggest of matches, Grand Finals, Challenge Cup Finals, World Cup Finals. But yeah, a simple error by him there, and yeah, back under the tosh, Kosh under Keighley.
Yeah, that rugby league ball doesn't care who you are, how many games you've played. It bounces around, moves a bit strangely sometimes. And it's Luke Gale who's come up with the error that's given Batley the opportunity. Keegan Hurst storming onto it. Good defence in the end to bring him down, but this is a really dangerous position. But I think they've given the error away. I think this is going to come back on Keighley ball. I think possibly knocked on.
Incorrect play the ball, I think it was there by Keegan Hurst. I think he loses his feet as he plays it, yeah. You've got to regain your feet and play the ball properly nowadays. You can't do that anymore. So, yeah, let Keighley off the hook there.
So the opportunity to extend the lead goes begging for the Bulldogs. But the Cougars still with plenty of work to do, carrying the ball away from their own 10-metre line. But we saw how much this game swung at times in the first half, Alex. You've never felt that you're that far away from either team just having a little spell and a little run of momentum in this one.
No, that's it. I think Keighley just need to sort of get comfortable again. They start the first half quite slow, but they built into it really well. Yeah, and look, it's only two tries behind, that's all they are. Anything can happen in this game, and yeah, but first and foremost, I think they just need to get back to grinding out the sets, kicking well and defending a little bit better.
We'll look over to the left-hand side. Gale brings it up to the line. Brings the numbers, but an interception, and he could be in here. It's Dale Morton again going for the corner. The cover in defence is superb in the end from Lewis Young. They're asking for a penalty. The referee says play on. They could be in anyway here. Just stopped short. Dale Morton thought he was in, But the Keighley defence got themselves across. They've got more work to do here, though. Tackles in the bag for Batley. And they come over to this right-hand side.
Yeah, just what a cover tackle. I know they got the interception there, did Batley, but an amazing cover tackle by Keighley. They need to survive here now, but yeah, they're doing really well so far.
Well, Meadows drops it off to Gledhill. This is the 5th. 5 metres short. They come to the left-hand side, keeping it in hand again. Woods out the back, and McGowan cut down. And again, perhaps just maybe a little bit of overplay in there, reluctance to kick when it was perhaps the more obvious thing to do was to put the ball in the corner and look for a repeat set.
Yeah, look, again, I don't mind the play, you know, it sounds like I keep saying it, but Keighley now have got 90 metres to go, coming up the hill. But yeah, what an interception by I think it was Dale Morton, put Batley in that good, strong position, but Keighley defended really well to keep him out.
It's Keighley clinging on then in this Betfred Challenge Cup tie, clinging on to the hope of playing one of the Super League sides in the next round. And it's only a 10-point game, so there's still plenty of opportunity for them in this. But they're being made to do it the hard way against a Batley team that have definitely got their heads up.
Yeah, I've noticed that though by Keighley. They've got a bit more ball play within the forwards, hoping to generate quick play the ball speed, which is promising for them.
But again, the ball goes to ground. And the referee judges that it did go forward. So Batley again will have the ball in reasonable field position inside the Keighley half, 30 metres or so out. And yeah, as you can see there, just a slightly disorganised, almost cramped that left edge, didn't they? And couldn't quite work out where the ball was going to. I
think they're just trying to force it a little bit too much. I think, you know, they've still got 35 minutes left in this game to get the win and get the result. They don't need to be, you know, chasing points at such an early stage of the half. Yeah, I think they just need to calm down a little bit, Keighley here, get back to completing the sets, kicking well, and then earning the field position rather than trying to force it.
Well, James Brown back on. No apologies. It's Carl Keswick who's back on for Keighley. And a penalty given away in favour of the Bulldogs. So a near miss with the interception, but then a couple of errors compounding each other, and Batley find themselves back in scoring position. And offside, the call.
Yeah, Batley holding the ball in the scrum to trick the defenders into getting off the line. Worked out for them.
So now they come over to the right-hand side. Meadows takes the ball up to the line. McGowan just scragged short, but I think he's reached out. And he has, and the referee gives it. And we were just saying a few minutes ago about how impressive he's been. Aidan McGowan has come up with a crucial try for his side here to push that lead further out, and it's a long way back for Keighley now, Alex.
Yeah, look, it's going to be a tough ask for Keighley to respond there, but what a finish by young Aidan McGowan. He's not the biggest of players, but he showed all will, want and strength there to get over the line and finish a good try. And yeah, I was surprised that they didn't go for 2 points, to be honest, but it's been rightly rewarded here.
They come out to the right. It's Woods just shaping, and then a really well-timed ball from Meadows, and it's just that scrag tackle, isn't it, that doesn't quite get him down, and he gets the arm out.
Yeah, it's a great line, I think, by the centre for Batley, who sort of pulls in the Keighley centre and then creates that opportunity for McGowan out wide, and he took it really well. But
yeah, it's a good finish at the end because he was under real kind of scrutiny from 3 or 4 defenders, wasn't he?
He did, yeah. Again, he's not the biggest of players, but you know, he's fast and he's strong for someone of his size, and yeah, great finish by the fullback.
There's something about that fullback spot at this club. Luke Hooley, of course, going on to sign for Leeds after a fantastic season last year, and Aidan McGowan stepping into his boots, as it were, and having a really strong campaign so far for the Bulldogs. The 20-year-old Meadows with an opportunity to stretch this lead out to 16 points. And it's just to the right-hand side of the sticks, so some consolation for the Cougars, but they've got a long way back here. 14 points in this game feels like a big lead.
Yeah, look, I think they need to be careful here, Keighley. Now I think these could quite quickly get out of hand unless they grab the game back by the scruff of the neck again. Look, they're still not out of it. There's plenty of time in the match. 30 minutes. It's only 3 tries, but they quickly need to get back to sorting out the discipline and defensive efforts.
Well, Lewis Young gets us back underway. Michael Ward will just watch the ball roll up to him, control it with his foot, then he carries strongly, and he's broken through. Couldn't quite make the post contact meters that perhaps he wanted, but he's backed up by Keighley Hurst, and straight away we spoke about the impact that they made a couple of times since they've come on. Perfect example of it. Bang, bang, 25 yards, and look where Batley find themselves.
Absolutely. We spoke about how destructive their carries were in the first half going up the hill. But we see even more destructive coming down the hill as well. To give someone like Michael Ward that kind of run up to carry strong, and Ward into already find himself in the Keighley half.
There's still half an hour or so left in this game. It shouldn't be panic stations yet for Keighley, but they're just struggling to get themselves into the arm wrestle, aren't they? They're not completing, they're conceding penalties. You just feel like they need to settle this game down, get back into that set-to-set arm wrestle, and then perhaps this is an opportunity to do it as Meadows puts the kick up high, and it's taken well in the end by Lewis Young. Yeah, you're right. I think Luke Gale needs to kind of calm the troops down a little bit. Obviously, he's a big game player. He's used to these big moments, so he can. Again, I've said it, but they can turn this match around. They just need to get a bit of composure about them, get back to completing the sets like you've said. But first and foremost, need to control the ruck. I think the Batley's play the ball speed is just too fast for them at the minute, and that's why they've been finding it so hard for them to handle it. Well, Charlie Graham and Ben Crooks coming off their wings to contribute with carries there. And now they look to go to this left-hand side. Young with the pass out the back, but the Batley defence read it perfectly. So no real gain on that play for the Cougars. They're still inside their own half. What a hit that is from Michael Ward. It was Kyle Keswick who pranged the ball up, brought the ball into the line. Michael Ward, ball and all tackle. But that's a clever kick from Luke Gale. Crooks couldn't quite capitalise on that tricky bounce.
Yeah, but a better set for Keighley that, got to the end of the set, a good kick by Luke Gale and found himself in a bit more decent field position. I think the task now is to keep him up here, get control of the play, the ball speed and the ruck, but they'll be happy with that set to complete it, and again, this is where they need to mark up and defend really well.
And it's a controlled restart. They're not dealing with Michael Ward and Keighley Hurst carrying the ball off the fence when they're having to get themselves set. It's an opportunity for them to get the fence in position and try and now pin Batley inside their own half. Yeah, that's it. They get to regroup, get the line together, and mark up on these big men because they've struggled so far to handle them. So, yeah, better result for Keighley that set. Good, decent kick, but again, Batley breaking tackles. And it's Elliot Keir ducking and diving from the play of the ball. Now he finds James Meadows. And it's Hodgson coming through the line. He thought about going back inside to Meadows, kept the ball in hand. And he's scragged down 8 metres or so short. But Batley going almost length for the field in one play. And there's a scoring opportunity here. That pass was slightly behind Woods, so it stutters. It goes back to Keighley Hurst, who will just take the tackle and settle it underneath the sticks, 7 or 8 metres short from the line. Now they come out to the right. Woods again. Walshaw on a drop-off ball. He opened the scoring in the first half. He's got his second, Lucas Walshaw. And Batley, from one end of the pitch to the other, almost instantly, really. Elliot Keir with the carry to make the yards. And it's Lucas Walshaw that finishes off at the end. And the Batley Bulldogs push their lead out. This is the break from Elliot Keir, just kind of gets himself loose, and then it's the footwork, the speed, and it gets his head up, knows that he's got support. James Meadows is there, and it's Hodgson who almost got himself all the way through, cut down 6 or 7 metres short, and straight from this point on, the Keighley defence just couldn't get themselves organised, and it's Walshaw on that short pass, as it was for the opening try of the game. It is for this one. Batley find themselves 22 points to 4 to the good. James Meadows with the opportunity to improve that by 2. Yeah, again, disappointing defence by Keighley. We just spoke about a good, promising attacking set, keep them long, put Batley back into their own half in their own sort of 10-20 metre line, and yeah, missing tackles far too easily there for Keighley, and found himself under the pump, and yep, the line just didn't get set again. And Lucas Walshaw, we saw it in the first half, he's too big, he's too strong from that kind of range, and yeah, easy finish for him in the end. And we've spoken about the impact that the interchanges have had and those Batley middles have had, but actually let's give some credit to their outside backs as well, because the three-quarter line have all jumped in with big meters, big carries out of yardage, and as we saw there, Elliot Keir getting himself 3. It was Hodgson who took it 5 or 6 meters short, and the outside backs having a massive impact for Batley.
Yeah, and they're starting the sets, and again, I said it in the first half, as a middle, if you've got outside backs preparing to carry tough and play the ball speed, it makes your job easier.
Well, they've gone for the short kick-off. It hasn't paid off, so Batley field position again.
Again, I just don't think Keighley have got the composure at the minute. I know that they need the chasing points now, but it's only 18 points, which is 3 tries, plenty of time left. I think they need to be worried more about getting some field position as opposed to easy plays to try and get the ball back quite cheaply.
It's just felt like every time Keighley have started to build themselves back into the game, they found themselves chasing back, whether it was the interception 10 minutes or so ago from Morton or that breakaway from Keir. They're struggling to keep control of the game for any kind of prolonged period.
Yeah, that's it. They've shown promising signs, but they've let themselves down either through, like you said, poor defence or penalty or a cheap error. So look, you don't win big games or any sort of game with that kind of discipline, so they'll be looking to improve that, but again, it's still not over, but they need to sort the ruck out and sort the discipline out if they want to have a chance.
So James Brown playing the ball on the 40-metre line. Walshaw, 2-time try scorer on the next play, and Brown then going for the kick. It wasn't played at, but it could be on here. Meadows with the footballing skills and the finish. Well, it wasn't pretty. I don't think it's one that they've been working on the training ground, but it's 4 points, and from nothing, Batley stretched their lead.
Yeah, out of absolutely nowhere. Again, it's a disappointing result for Keighley. They've just not got hold of the ball. You never let the ball bounce, and it fell nicely for James Meadow, who scores in the corner. And yeah, that could be curtains. It's going to be a big ask for Keighley now.
Well, when it's going your way, it goes your way. It's Brown with the impromptu kick, shall we say, improvised, and then it's just eyes up play from that point on from Meadows, just reacting to what's around him, really sharp, carries it on with the grubber kick, football skills to see him over the line, and when you're going into that slope, the ball bounces your way, everything seems to be going the way of the Bulldogs. Fantastic from Meadows, just reacting to what was around him.
It is, but again, there just seems to be more players in the frame for Batley, and if you've got more numbers in and around the ball, the chances are it's going to come up good for you, and I think that just shows a mark of the sign of where the two teams are. Batley are full of confidence and energy and chasing the balls. Keighley just seem to be struggling, and the heads are down, and yeah, look, this could get ugly. It really could, unless they sort of get a grasp here of the match. It's going to be a real tough ask.
Well, Meadows with the opportunity to convert his own try, and you would feel really push this game out of the reach of Keighley. It's well struck, straight down the middle. 2 more points for the Bulldogs. James Meadows converting his own try, and here it is again. It just bounces off the player for the kick from Brown. It's Meadows who reacts quickest. Little bit of football skill, finishes well. Batley just reacting just that split second quicker to everything that's happening out there at the moment.
Yeah, and it probably comes down to energy, and they've got more energy because they're winning the field position, they're winning to play the ball up. They just seem to be
Meadows again, he's done really well to catch that short kick-off.
Yeah, great catch, yeah. Look, Keighley, again, they just need a bit of composure now. They look rattled. I think bringing back on Sante will help him. He carried really strong for them in the first half, and he might be the key to reinvigorate this Keighley attack.
Michael Ward, if he's not carrying, he's getting involved in the play. Those little drop-off passes, he's been really impressive this afternoon, and Brown now carrying it up to the halfway line. And every carry just looks easier, doesn't it, for Batley? Everyone just looks that little bit fresher, that little bit quicker. Yeah. And again, finding some space. As White that time, the basketball pass then over the top, and Meadows just loses his foot in. Oh, McGowan with the step, and again taking on Lewis Young, the fullback. McGowan to the line. What a try that is from the young fullback.
Is he giving it?
If the referee is going to give it.
Yeah.
And he does. And a second try of the afternoon for Josh McGowan. And that, again, we spoke about the one in the first half in the corner. that was special.
Yeah, what a finish by the young fullback. Got a bit of space from the offload and the off-the-cuff play, and he took it really, really well. But Keighley again missing tackles. Batley getting the offload far too easily, and yeah, it was all magic from McGowan from there.
Aidan McGowan, he was so solid in the first half under the high ball. We didn't get to see much of him with ball in hand, but that is a wonderful step and finish from Aidan McGowan. Really composed. It was Meadows who found himself in some space, wasn't wrapped up, wasn't dealt with, got the offload away, and it's McGowan for his second try of the afternoon. And Batley really starting to stretch this lead out and enjoy themselves. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be game, set a match for Batley, even with so much time left. It's going to be a tough ask for Keighley to come back, especially if he kicks this. And yeah, look, what a finish by McGowan, but it comes back to that quick play, the ball speed created by the pack and by the offloads from Michael Ward, the subtle plays, and James Brown again creating that play, the ball speed. So as he kicks it again, which again it makes that task even harder for Keighley. Well, just under 20 minutes left in this game. Stranger things have happened, Alex, but there is just a feeling now of damage control from a Keighley perspective. Well,
that's it. I think if Keighley were playing at a standard where I think they could score points, I wouldn't say it was over, but I just don't see where the points are coming from at the minute. Yeah, they're kicking long here now, hopefully to get some field position, but yeah, I struggle to see where they're going to come back from.
Ward, really eager today, isn't he? Really enjoying himself out there. That ponytail in full flow, carrying strongly. And every tackle now, Batley just seems to be getting those quick plays, finding the front.
That's never.
I think he's dropped that. Commentator's curse again. I'll take responsibility for that one.
It looked quite messy, but yeah.
Keighley breathe a sigh of relief and an opportunity to really have the ball inside the Batley half for the first time in this second period.
Yeah, as I think he looks like he's trying to force the offload there. There's a lot of hands on it. But yeah, it gives Keighley an opportunity to get back into the match. I think they need to take this opportunity as well.
So they come from the scrum to the right-hand side. It's Gale. Fades one way, keeps it in hands and go the other. He's cut down about 12 metres short from the try line. Keep the ball in hand. Charlie Graham.
That's better though. Seeing Luke Gale take on the line will be promising signs. He's an attacking player, so he's going to be key if Keighley are going to make a comeback.
Ione looking to just bump and turn around that defender. Brought down 8 metres or so in the shadow of the sticks. Now they come to this left-hand side. Think that's gone backwards. No, referee adjusted, it's gone forwards. So Batley survive that rare bit of defending that they've had to do on their own line in this half. And for Keighley, just not sticking, is it?
No, another poor pass. Just behind Santi, and he couldn't take it in. Again, another opportunity wasted for Keighley, and that's been the story of their match, I'm afraid, so far.
It's Batley restarting play. With the scrum 10 metres away from their own line, bang in the centre of the field to come out to the left-hand side. And the assignment really is simple for them at this stage. Just got to keep the composure, go through their sets, go through their plays. No disasters, and they will be in the hat for the next round of the Challenge Cup alongside all of the Super League sides. And Alex, as someone who's been involved in, obviously, yourself playing for Batley and now St Helens, those games, you know, when you are coming up, you get a bit of a mismatch, Championship versus Super League. They're so special for both sides, aren't they? Because it's such a unique thing.
Yeah, it really is. Being, I suppose, playing in one of those matches from both aspects, from an underdog and obviously a more comfortable from a Super League side, playing against a lower team is. Yeah, they're exciting, and they're especially exciting for the Championship side, mixing yourself up against the best to challenge yourself. And yeah, they are special matches, and hopefully Batley, once to get through this game, we'll get a nice tie as we see another big hit from Michael Ward.
Well, the kick went in from Woods. Michael Ward is everywhere at the moment. He was too much everywhere there. He was offside, so a relieving penalty for Keighley and an opportunity for Luke Gale. What a hit that is.
He's done that all game, hasn't he?
But no need really, is there, for him to have chased that hard at this stage in the game, but he's so eager and so keen.
Well, that's it, and I think Craig Lingard will be keen for Batley to keep on this pressure. They won't want them to drop their intensity, and we've seen that through Michael Ward. They want to finish the game strong and probably chase more points, but yeah, look, don't want to finish the game really well.
So a rare opportunity for Keighley here in the Batley half. Bring the ball out to the left-hand side. Gale steps away, finds himself a little bit of space. Keighley have an opportunity 15 metres away.
And they get a 6 again. So I know a bit more of an opportunity.
It up to the line to Ione. A little bit of space over on this left edge. Crooks was open there, but the ball didn't get as far out as him, so it's Crooks from dummy half. Ione up to the line. Keighley huffing and puffing, but struggling to make any real inroads. Gale comes one side of the ruck, passes the other. That was nice. But again, that Batley defence holds firm, but then they concede a penalty.
Yeah, for the ball steal, I think the referee's given, which will again gives Keighley another opportunity. But they must get a try here if they want to stand themselves a chance.
Well, the ball's come loose, but it's going to be another penalty, a strip given.
Yeah, I know Gale seems to be in a bit of pain here. Hopefully it's nothing too serious.
Well, the physio on, so a breather.
Yeah, he seems to be in a lot of pain here. Hopefully it's nothing too bad. He seems to get his ankle stuck in the tackle, and the defender sort of pulls his weight down on top of it.
Well, he's back up on his feet, looking a little bit ginger. But an opportunity for Keighley then to get something back on the board. Four or so metres short of the line. It's Kyle Keswick who plays it, and they immediately come out to that left edge. Big handoff. Dan Parker that was, and he's still trying to muscle his way over. And we're going back out to the 10-metre line, held up over the try line. Keighley wasted no time. Ione to Santi. Those two back on have made a difference for the Cougars, as they desperately look to get a foothold back in this game. It's again Ione on that crash ball, and I think he's got himself over. A really good carry in the end from Mark Ione. And the Cougars get the first try of the second half, and there's still a long way to go, but that was definitely their best spell of the game since the interval.
Yeah, a lot better by Keighley. I think no coincidence with the reintroduction of Mark Ione and Brendan Santi that they're coming up and looking a little bit more comfortable in and around the middle with some strong carries. But yeah, just a simple drop-off ball there to Ione, who carries strong, gets a one-on-one tackle and finishes it really well.
Gale successfully knocking over the 2 points. So 34 points to 10 is the deficit here with about 11 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, stranger things have happened, but you know, obviously Batley taking their time here to get back to halfway to kick off, but I think Keighley will be happy with that. I think if they'd have shown a little bit more of that earlier in the game, they'd have been in a stronger position. But you know, they've got a chance still. But yeah, they need to score some more points pretty quickly.
So Eddie McGowan will get us back underway. Long spiralling kick, which Luke Gale looking all right after that knock he took underneath it, and gives it to the ever willing, the ever eager Brendan Santi. One of the bright sparks, one of the real positives in this performance, I think, for Keighley. And Marco Ione, fresh from scoring that try of a follow-up carry, and that's probably the best meters we've seen them make from, you know, those early set yardage carries in this half.
Yeah, and it's no coincidence it's the two ball carriers from the previous set who scored the try, and Yeah, as a getting ever, he looked more promising for Keighley with those big ball carriers back on the field, but again, they've forced the pass too much and they've come up with a mistake.
And this is where it gets tricky, because they're in a position now where they're being forced to play. They don't have a choice. They've got to try and force something out of this game, and that is where the errors can slip in. So Batley will take the scrum, again, centre of the field, about 45 metres away from the try line. No rush at all from the home side, as you'd expect.
Yeah, I know it's better by Keighley, and they need to force a hand. It's a tricky situation because you've said they need to find points, but without creating field position, it's hard to create those points as well. So, yeah, it's a tough ask.
So Batley coming over to his left-hand side. Buchanan cut down. Kay in at the play of the ball, brings the ball out to Brown. Brown keeps it in his hands to begin with, but then gets the offload away to Meadows. And now he's wall short, just sticks it up the jumper. Stopped 25, 26 metres away from the try line. Batley asking for a penalty, nothing doing, get on with it, says the referee. And they do. Brown up over the 20-metre mark. Keighley just slowing the tackle down a little bit more than they have done. But now they come to the right-hand side. Aidan McGowan putting that step on again. He looks dangerous now every time he gets the ball in hand. And now they look to spread it over to this left edge. Meadows. Good call, but the tackle from Luke Gale. Absolutely crucial. Causing the turnover. Adibayi carries up and gets the offload away. Now it's Charlie Graham trying to make some inroads on this right-hand side. Yeah, stopped 18 metres away from the line.
Great tackle by Luke Gale there. Stopped a certain try. Gets the possession back as well, and Keighley back with the ball.
Santi. Again, strong carry, but he's met well by the Batley line. Brought down on the 28-metre mark. Looks to come to this right-hand side. Kyle Keswick brought down on the 40. Adibayi plays. And now they look to spread left. Luke Gale met by James Brown, but he manages to shrug off the tackle. But the Batley line speed is good, as it has been all afternoon. And snuff out any space that might have been on that left edge.
Yeah, look really comfortable defensively, Batley. Keighley struggling to make any inroads here.
So there's fifth tackle. Keighley will be kicking just inside the Batley half. And it's a high one. I think it's going to be Keir looking to get underneath him. A little bit of uncertainty between Keir and Aidan McGowan. In the end, it's the fullback McGowan that gets underneath it, and he's away, and he's away. This is outstanding. Aidan McGowan standing up the defence.
Forced to pass, but what a bit of play again by Aidan McGowan. You give him some space, he'll definitely exploit it. And again, we saw why they're speaking so highly of the young fullback.
Absolutely electric. A little bit of confusion that led to it, but he got himself on the ball, and this is just brilliant. Stepping off both feet, standing defenders up. Crooks just does enough, and we're denied what would have been a try of the season contender if that pass had stuck. But certain players you just want to see with the ball in their hands. You get excited every time they come into the line, and my word, Aidan McGowan is that at fullback, isn't he?
Yeah, he's all fireworks. You give him some space, he'll definitely exploit it. A bit of confusion under the high ball, but as soon as he gets it in his hands and he sees that space, he's like, he goes after it, and yep, a little bit of better skill at the end, and we would have seen a fantastic try, I think.
Well, Alex, I'll be coming to you in the not-so-distant future for your Betfred man of the match. So start having to think about that. Plenty of contenders, I would imagine, in the kind of burgundy of Batley. Yeah,
there's a few. I think I'll be one of them as Batley give a penalty away. But yeah, there's been some real strong performers by Batley, which is why they're in such a promising position. But again, an opportunity for Keighley now to draw one back.
Well, I'll give you a couple of minutes to think about your Betfred player of the match. But in the meantime, as you say, Keighley with a penalty. Bang underneath the sticks, 18 metres out. And it's going to be Santi almost looking a little bit weary now. I'm not surprised at the amount of carrying he's done when he's been on the field. But he brings it up to the 8-metre line, and now they look out to the right-hand side. And that's Ione. Already got one try in his pocket this afternoon, looking for a second, but I think he's going to be stopped just short. In the field of play, though. so we won't go back to the 10-metre line. We'll go from the goal line. Now they look out to the left. Could be in here.
Oh. Yeah, he's in.
And the referee gives it. And another try for Keighley. Just trying to see who it was in the end that took the carry. Shirts all over the place. But it is 4 points to the Keighley Cougars. Just a short crash ball.
Yeah, not too sure who gets over in the end, but again, it comes off the back of some strong carries by Brendan Santi and Marchione. I think that the two forwards there who are going to be quite unlucky to be on the losing side should they end up on that. But yeah, Luke Gale kicks the 2 points, and 18 points with it, with less than 5 minutes to go.
Well, all a little bit too late then, in the end, for Keighley.
Yeah, and I think that'll be the frustrating thing for Coach Rhys Lovegrove. You know, he's probably seeing some of the practice they've had all week coming at too late in the game. Once the game's sort of dead and buried. You know, if we'd have seen some of that early on in the match, we'll have been a bit of a closer match and would have had a chance of getting a result.
So, Alex, I'm giving you a couple of minutes to think about it. Who is your Betfred player of the match in this wonderful Challenge Cup tie that we've had this afternoon?
Yeah, there's been plenty of candidates. I think the interchange bench of Adam Gledhill, Michael Ward and Keegan Hurst for Batley have all stood up really well and created what's been you know, a fantastic result for Batley. Lucas Walshaw with 2 tries, but my Betfred man of the match goes to Aidan McGowan. I think he's been electric. Obviously, scorer of 2 tries, nearly gone away for his third at the end there. Any bit of space he's had is exploited, and he's been a real handful for Keighley. So, yeah, my player of the match goes to Aidan McGowan.
So, Aidan McGowan, the Betfred player of the match, well deserved. I think that was Dan Parker that went over for the try on that left-hand side for the Cougars. Slightly difficult for us to see from our position up here in the gantry. But it looks like it'll be in vain anyway, as Keighley, to be fair to them, as they have done, sticking at it. Luke Gale making some meters on the right-hand side. of Keswick now out to Gale. They come over to this left edge. Put the spread play on. Young coming into the line. Cut down. And he's lost the ball in the process. And here he is, the Betfred player of the match, Aidan McGowan. Stepping off both feet. A real handful for defenders.
Yeah, he's been excellent, but again, we're seeing a bit more from Keighley now, which will be frustrating for the coach, because, you know, if we'd have seen a little bit more of this kind of attacking play, there might have been a better chance of winning the match, but it's too little too late, I'm afraid.
I wonder how much they'll rue that 5-minute period just before half-time. It was an even ball game, and then 2 tries in quick succession for Batley really changed the kind of picture of this game at the break.
It did as well, coming off the back of quite a questionable refereeing decision as well, with the in-touch and not the penalty given to Keighley. But yeah, they'll regret that 5 minutes. I think the way they finished the first half and the way they've started the second half has been the reason that they've lost this match. And had they sorted out a few little things leading up to that, they could have been in a much better, stronger position.
Meadows puts the kick in on 5th. Looking for the touchline, doesn't quite make it, but he's turned Lewis Young around. Nice. But now a moment of magic from the Keighley fullback. Lewis Young making meters upfield, brings the ball back on the inside. Covering defence does well.
Yeah, great break by the fullback. I think both fullbacks for both teams have been excellent. I think he's unlucky to be on the losing side as well. He's young, but as Keighley look a completely different side to what we've seen for the first 65 minutes.
Yeah, finishing on a high, the Cougars, as they look to bow out of the Betfred Challenge Cup for 2023. And all too little too late, but their best period of this game has definitely come in this last 10 minutes or so. They'll be looking to finish with a flourish and make that scoreboard just look a little bit better in their favour. Ione, try scorer, of course, in this second half, cut short. Keswick comes out to the left, Gale juggling it, brings it in, puts a kick over the top. And a really clever kick in the end, forces a repeat set.
Yeah,
Batley won't mind that though.
No, but I think that's Keighley's first repeat set of the match, and it's coming in the 79th minute. Yeah, Batley will be happy just to put the ball away. I think they've they've sort of took the foot off the pedal a little bit here, Batley. Happy sort of to cruise through to the end of the game, and this is why we sort of seen a bit of a resurgence from Keighley. But again, it's too little, too late. You know, they needed to have been playing with this kind of energy and speed.
We just saw the break there from Lewis Young. He's had some good moments in this game. Just been slightly too few and far between as a whole for the Keighley Cougars. A reminder that clock on your screen is just a guide. So we are into the red, so to speak, but we wait to hear the horn from the timekeeper, and until then we'll keep going. And Keighley will keep going. That's Keswick taking it from the play of the ball. 4-5 metres short of the line.
No, never.
And he's knocked on. And that really is the tale of the game, condensed into about 10 seconds, Alex.
Yeah, sums up Keighley down to a T there. Getting into good, strong positions, creating opportunities to come up short with an error. And again, another soft error to give field and ball back to Batley. So, yeah, here we go here as he's fighting for the play of the ball. I know it's quite messy, but it's the responsibility of the attacker to keep hold of that and get the play of the ball. And yeah, that sums up Keighley, I'm afraid.
We've said overplaying a few times in this second half. Probably a case of that again. Just trying almost a little bit too hard to get that quick play and get his team on the front foot. And it's Batley who find themselves in possession, carrying it off their own 10-metre line. But with the scoreline as it is, they won't mind that at all. Ball in hand, an opportunity to just slow this down, wind down what remains of the clock.
Yeah, there we go.
And there goes the hooter. It's a win for the Batley Bulldogs in the Betfred Challenge Cup. They will join the Super League sides in the next round and take a step closer to Wembley, whether that be in the Betfred Challenge Cup or the 1895 Cup. They've beaten the Keighley Cougars here at the Foxes Biscuit Stadium. Alex, 34-16. Probably a scoreline that fairly accurately reflects this game.
Yeah, a comfortable win for Batley in the end. Keighley will be disappointed with how they've started this match, and again we're probably seeing from the last 10-15 minutes that they're more than capable of troubling and causing and scoring points, but we saw too little of it throughout the game. Batley comfortable winners, just seem to be on another gear than Keighley, I'm afraid. Carried a little bit stronger, played the ball a little bit faster, and we saw some really nice tries off the back of those carries.
And hopefully we'll hear from the Betfred player of the match, Aidan McGowan, shortly, but a few notable mentions as well elsewhere in this side. Michael King, Keegan Hurst making a big impact, but let's go right back to the beginning. This man was really impressive today, Lucas Walshaw.
Yeah, 2 tries for Lucas Walshaw. You know, he's a big man with a big frame. All 6'5" of him, he's hard to handle close to the line, and he took two tries really well with the first one there.
And then Keighley getting themselves back to parity. A real seesaw of a game at this stage. That was Robbie Story going over.
Well, that's it. It was, you know, at 4-all, the game was finally in the balance, but we spoke about this period towards the back end of the first half.
And this is just as good as you'll see in any league in the world. The offload from Hodgson, outstanding, and that finish, absolutely magnificent. And Batley really, at that point, didn't look back, carried it on into the second half. This is the first of the tries from Aidan McGowan, just getting that arm out. And at this point, Batley looked like a really comfortable side. Yeah,
it seemed as soon as that second half started, they were still in the ascendancy. Keighley seemed to still be rattled by the back end of it, and Batley exploited it really well.
And then this, a really big moment you felt in the game. Keir getting himself free, making loads of yards, and this was Batley at their best, really. Yeah,
it was, and busting tackles as we saw throughout the game, whether it was the outside backs or whether it was the middles down in the middle of the field. They made it far too easy to gain meters, and allowed Lucas Walshaws and players alike to crash over for nice and simple tries.
Really good running lines throughout that game from Walshaw, rewarded with 2 tries for it. A Batley rampant really at this stage, just finding space, finding inroads everywhere they look, and this just individual brilliance this from the man of the match, Aidan McGowan.
Yeah, I've said all game he's been fireworks. Any opportunity, any little bit of space, he's stuck to it, and he's caused Keighley havoc throughout the whole match, and gets a thoroughly deserved couple of tries.
And then the consolation efforts coming in for Keighley. Marco Arnie crashing his way over, and they probably missed him. They suffered when he wasn't on the field, and then this one again just padding that score a little bit in their favour. Dan Parker going over on that occasion, but all a little bit too late really for Keighley. Batley will take a huge amount of confidence, not just the rest of the season in terms of the league campaign, but you know they'll take this win into the next round of the Challenge Cup, and they can look forward to what is potentially, obviously we wait to see the draw, but what is potentially a real glamour tie against the Super League side.
Yeah, look, really exciting for Batley to get through that, and they'll be looking forward to the next round to get a nice duty tie to come up against. And but yeah, no, they'll be very happy.
Well, we can go down pitch side now to Paul King, who is joined by the Betfred player of the match, Aidan McGowan.
So at the 1890 Cup, but from a personal point of view, with a great performance, scoring 2 tries, you've just got yourself the Betfred player of the match.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, thank you. I think it was a good game for us all. I think all the boys performed well. There's obviously still areas to improve from, but I think that's a positive thing that we played like that, and we can still work on stuff.
It certainly was a great all-round team performance, but from a personal point of view, just sum up your emotions right now, obviously progressing to the next round of this great competition.
Yeah, buzzing. Gives us a chance to hopefully get a Super League opposition, test ourselves, try and push one of the big boys out basically, and then pushing on to the 1895 Cup semi-final. I think it's something the boys wanted to do at the start of the year, so it's good.
You can obviously hear the crowd around us clapping the players off as they come off now. What can you say about the crowd today? Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, massive. They're massive. All the fans. Batley's a really good club. It's a family club. Everyone's included, and I think that's what makes it special.
Aidan, many congratulations. Thanks for joining us. We'll bring in your head coach now, Craig Lingard. Craig, first of all, you must be absolutely delighted with that performance today.
Yeah, really pleased. I thought the first half set the platform for us. I thought we were really professional with what we did and clinical, and where we ended the sets, and we knew that if we put Keighley further back down the field, they couldn't get to that expansive rugby that they like to play. So I thought our defence in that first half and how we maintain and control the field position really gives a platform. And then the second half, we scored some nice tries on the back of that.
Craig, you talked there about a professional performance. I think it was something like 35 minutes in. The scoreline was locked at 4-all, and you scored two tries just before half-time there. Do you think that was the difference in the end?
Not necessarily. I think it gave us that impetus in the second half to kick on a little bit, and maybe Keith chase a scoreboard when they didn't necessarily need to, but it certainly helps. But I just thought the whole 40 minutes, the way that we defended and didn't concede any points with Keith coming downhill, it set the platform for us in that second half then just to maintain what we did after the effort in the first half.
And even in that opening 35 minutes, there was sort of no panic whatsoever. It was as though, even though the scoreline was locked at 4-all, that you were in complete control of that game, and it was as though you were really patient and just waiting for that opportunity to go.
Yeah, and that's what the players said at half-time when we came into the sheds. They said that the talk were really good. There weren't any panic, even if they didn't complete a set, that it was just straight on to the next job. And that's what we've been trying to get into them this year, is that you don't need to score off every single set. You don't need to win the game on play one. And it's just doing that job, and the longer that you do that job, the more often than not the scoreboard's going to look after itself. And I thought for the majority of the game we switched off a little bit defensively towards the end of the game, which is something we need to look at. But for, I'd say 90% of the game we're really pleased with.
Craig, just before we actually let you go, just going away from this game slightly, you spoke before the game and said the importance it is of this club to progress to the next round of the 1895 Cup. When you come to Batley, you sort of get that feel, that community feel. There's a lot of good things going on at this club at the moment. Just what will this mean to people like Kevin Nicholas, Paul Harrison, that have been with this club for such a long time, obviously to have that opportunity to reach Wembley?
Well, it won't mean anything unless we get into the final. We're into the semi-final now, which is the next stage for us. But we need to complete that task, complete the job. We need to get to Wembley now. So winning today doesn't get us to Wembley. We know that we've got another 8-minute performance against whoever we draw. And if and when we do that, then we can start thinking about that big day.
And obviously that's getting through to the semi-finals, the 1895 Cup. You're obviously in the next round of the Challenge Cup. Are you looking for a Super League club maybe at home?
That would be the ideal again for the club and the players. You want to play against the best teams, the best players for the club. If we get a real nice home draw, financially that'd be great for us. But we're realistic. We're not going to win the Challenge Cup. I'll get to the final of the Challenge Cup, because if we do, and we'll get to the final of the 1895 Cup, we'll have to double up, won't we?
Great, congratulations once again for joining us. Thank you. We're bringing Rhys Grovelove now. He's just coming over. Rhys, first of all, you must be feeling a little bit disappointed and dejected at the end of that game.
Yeah, I felt like we could have made a far better contest of it than we did. I thought Batley were outstanding, and I felt that for us to make a real contest of it, we had to rise to meet, and we just didn't today. I mean, skill still wasn't great, a lot of drop ball, and Batley capitalised on that. I thought they were brilliant.
So we just spoke to Craig Lingard there, and he's obviously absolutely delighted with the way that Batley controlled that game. Contra to that, I'm guessing you're a little bit disappointed perhaps with some of the unforced errors that you came in with, in particular in the first half and the opening 20 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, no doubt. I think the way that we like the team to play and is set up, but they haven't been executing. I mean, they haven't been doing it. It's 2 weeks in a row now. But yeah, like I said, I thought Batley were brilliant. They went through their game plan really, really well and played some great footy.
Rhys, finally, you spoke before the game about just taking one game at a time. You've not made a bad start to life in the Championship. Whitehaven away the next game. You have a week off next week. Will that do you a lot of good? Yeah, we need it. I think we need it. We're certainly down a few troops now, but yeah, we've got to take it each week as it comes, and the boys have a week off now to sort of get some energy back, because it's been a tough slog in the Championship so far. Rhys, thank you for joining us, and wish you all the best for the rest of the season. We'll bring in Luke Gale. Luke, first of all, looking at the game today, you must be feeling a little bit disappointed.
Very disappointed. Probably echo what Rhys said then. I didn't catch it, but I don't think we started great. We wasn't clinical enough, and that's been the story the last few weeks, really. Not clinical early, and then we let a couple of late tries in the first half, and then we kind of give in towards that second half there, which is disappointing. I don't think we've done that this year. Yeah, not good enough, really. But the boys will regroup. Look, it's a mix of older lads as myself and some good young kids as well that come up from League One, and when we kind of beat the lower end teams, and when you come up against the better teams, we're just not quite there. So disappointing, but I'm sure there'll be better days.
Luke, you talked there about some of the younger players. Obviously, from a personal point of view, yourself, you've had a fantastic Super League career. You had a little bit of a break away from the game, and you've come back here at Keighley in the Championship. How are you finding life in the Championship with the Keighley Cougars?
Mate, I'm actually loving it, to be honest. It's obviously a lot more chilled out. I mean, Rhys is a great coach, and training's still intense, but it's obviously not that day to day of 6, 7 a.m. on a morning. It's obviously on a night, and I'm kind of enjoying it. The lads have been great, and we've been slowly building, and that's why a performance like that is probably disappointing. We beat York, we beat a good Bradford side, and then we kind of dished that up today, and it's kind of been getting better and better, and then that's just a bit of a backward step, and I'm sure we'll regroup and get better. But no, the lads are great, and I've been really enjoying it.
Look, we really appreciate you joining us after today, and we wish you all the very best for the rest of the season.
Top man, thank you.
Well, that's all she wrote here at the Foxes Biscuits Stadium in the Betfred Challenge Cup. Just to bring you up to date with the other tie that took place this afternoon, London Broncos 36, Dewsbury 16, so the Broncos in the hat for the next round. But here, it's the Batley Bulldogs who go through 34 points to 16 against the Keighley Cougars. 2 tries apiece for Walshaw and McGowan. Hodson and Morton Meadows also chipping in for the Bulldogs. Alex, a really entertaining cup tie. That first 40 minutes was really cut and thrust, and then Batley showed some class in that second half. Yeah, it was. It was a tale of two halves in the end. It could have gone either way in the first half, but we spoke about that 5-10 minutes before the end of the first half, and how Batley sort of got them 2 tries, a couple of questionable decisions, what went their way, but took full advantage of it and come out worthy winners in the end. Well, Alex, it's been an absolute pleasure spending the afternoon with you, bringing you this game live on the Sportsman. We will wait and see what the draw brings up for the 6th round. The Super League teams join the party in the next stage. Always an exciting part of this competition. But until then, we'll see you soon. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing you this game on the Sportsman Rugby League.